Every single video out there about studying when you don't feel like it just repeats the same exact stuff. You just have to build your discipline or find out your why. But what if I told you the real reason is not that you're lazy, it's that you're just waiting for a feeling that's never gonna come. Once I understood that as an engineering student who was like 3 weeks behind on my work, everything changed for me. Here's what I do instead. Before we move on, you have to stop waiting to feel like it. You see, the thing is, motivation is a feeling, and feelings are the most unreliable things on this planet. Your opinion can literally change within 5 minutes depending on how you feel. So first of all, eliminate your feelings completely when it comes to studying. All of the top students who get like amazing grades, when it comes to studying, they don't let their feelings interfere with it. Back when I was doing A levels, or back when I was doing GCSEs, I used to see these people who were getting like A's, A stars, 8s and 9s, like just amazing grades in general. And I used to think to myself, wow, they're genuinely so motivated, and I wish I could be this motivated. But when I came to university and I basically saw everyone around me studying, I realized that everyone's miserable. No one wants to study. It's just that they've removed their feelings from the act of studying because their exam is going to come anyways. And if they let their feelings dictate how they study, they're never going to get prepared for that exam. And the way you stop waiting for these feelings comes down to 3 different things. And the third one is what really works for me and still works to this day. Mechanism 1. Shrink the start. You gotta first understand that the reason that you don't start studying isn't inherently because of the work. It's because of the magnitude of the work inside of your head. Let me give you an example. When you think about the statement, study for 3 hours, it is daunting. It literally sits on you and you're gonna be like, oh my god, 3 hours of consistent studying? That is just, I don't wanna do that. But when you think of it like, sit down and solve question number 5 to 10, it becomes a lot more bearable. And once you break the barrier of friction, and you sit down and actually start doing those questions, everything becomes 10 times easier. So the size of the work inside of your head is what holds you back from studying in the first place. Your first job isn't to study, it's to just get started. If I keep telling myself I have to do 4 hours of linear algebra, I'm never going to start because I'll just keep delaying it out of fear. But if I just say, sit down and solve some vector questions, that becomes a lot more easier to digest, and I'll just sit down and do it. And the thing that actually ends up happening is once you sit down and actually start doing it, it becomes easier. Like you don't stop. You're gonna get questions right. You're gonna be like, you know what, let's go and let's keep doing it, and you're gonna continue the process. So remove that big magnitude of work out of your mind, saying like, oh my god, 3 hours of studying, and just say, I'm just going to solve a couple of questions and see where it takes me. But before that, as we just talked about in the previous point, one of the biggest things that holds you back is the magnitude of the work. It's like if you see a 500-page textbook or a 200-page PDF, you're going to get scared. And that's where the sponsor of today's video comes in, the UPDF. The second the material starts to feel heavy, motivation dies out, and I just don't feel like studying anymore. To solve this, all I do is drop all my lecture slides into UPDF, hit summarize, and it pulls out all the key concepts in just seconds. The friction ends up going before it's even built up. To make it even better, I just convert it into a mind map so I can see the entire chapter laid out in front of me. It just makes starting feel like less of a challenge and more like a checklist. And if something doesn't click, I just ask UPDF directly without stalling out and losing momentum. UPDF is also just my everyday PDF editor, whether that's highlighting, annotating, merging all of my lecture slides into one file so that there's nothing between me and actually opening up to study. As my next point is going to be, staying consistent isn't about willpower, instead it's about removing friction. So go ahead and use my link in the description below to get UPDF completely free to download. Now let's move on to mechanism number 2. Kill the friction. You don't have a motivation problem, you have a friction problem. Phone in the room with notifications on, your study material not open yet. Every one of these is another reason for your unmotivated brain to just say, no, I don't want to study. Remove all of these distractions before you need willpower, because let's be honest, at the end of the day, your willpower will lose and you'll give into your desires of scrolling on your phone. For example, what I like to do when I sit down to study is not have my phone on me in the first place. I just keep it in another room or somewhere else. I give it to my parents or whatever it is, right? Whenever I'm trying to work, I make sure my desk is clear and I don't have anything that can distract me. Because if I'm trying to work and my phone is constantly looking at me, I'm losing focus every single second. And the time's going to come where I'm just going to give in, pick up my phone, go and sit on my bed and start scrolling. So the best way to combat this is to not have your phone or anything that can distract you on your desk in the first place, and not have it nearby as well. Keep it in another room so that there's a friction between you and your phone, and if you want to go get it, you have to walk out of your room and then get it. So all I do is just make starting the path of least resistance. But there's something else that no one tells you, which is the reason that you feel unmotivated in the first place. Mechanism number 3. The payoff point. The real reason studying feels impossible isn't laziness. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's overstimulation. If you've spent the entire day, let's say, scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, watching videos, or just consuming high dopamine rewarding content, then when you sit down to study, studying is inherently a boring activity. And when you've been overstimulating your brain the entire day by watching short form content or playing games or just quick dopamine activities, studying will feel like 10 times more boring, which will make it 10 times harder to start in the first place. It's not that studying got harder, it's just that you ended up raising your baseline levels. And the fix is quite easy, and I think you guys could probably predict what it is as well. Stop using your phone. Stop consuming overstimulating content at least like an hour or two before you start studying. Give your mind a break. Boredom is a good thing. You don't always have to be overstimulated. And if you want to make studying easy, if you want to make doing work easy, if you want to make the things that are actually rewarding in the long term easy, which are going to be boring right now, you have to stop consuming cheap dopamine. Make some quick fixes that will reward you in the long term. So for example, when you wake up, instead of going on your phone first thing in the morning, get up, get a glass of water, get some sunshine in, and make your bed. Pretty simple. Or if you're trying to study, don't use any high overstimulating content at least like 2 hours before you start studying. Stare into the wall. Start meditation. Do stuff that is boring so that you can actually fix your attention span. And when it comes, to studying, you don't find it inherently as boring as you would if you let's say I just scroll and start studying. Make studying easier for yourself. Now, you're never going to consistently feel like studying. It just doesn't happen. I'm sorry. But what we actually try to do in this video is to fix the resistance to it. So number one was to make starting so easy for yourself. Number two was to remove any sort of friction or distractions that are there. And number three was to unfry your brain so that just studying becomes easy. That's what actually works. Not motivation, just plain old boring systems. They just make it easier for you. Honestly, I won't lie, I'm trying to figure this stuff out in real time as well as an engineering student. So yeah, if you want to see my journey, if you want to learn about university, about different type of stuff, consider subscribing to the channel right over here and check out 2 of these videos right over here. I'll see you with another video very soon. Thank you for watching. Take care. I hope this video helped, and bye bye.